To truly understand the cinematic miracle that is the 2020 release of Sonic the Hedgehog, one cannot simply start with the opening credits. One must begin in the uncanny valley of 2019, amidst the wreckage of a marketing disaster that nearly doomed the franchise before it even began. The story of this film is not just about a blue alien running fast. It is a meta-narrative about the relationship between a studio and its audience, a tale of humility, and arguably the first time in Hollywood history where fixing it in post actually worked. When the first trailer dropped, the world recoiled in horror at a creature that possessed human teeth, disturbing muscular calves, and beady eyes. It was a eldritch horror masquerading as a beloved 90s icon. But then, something unprecedented happened. Paramount Pictures listened. They delayed the film, spent millions of dollars, and crunched the visual effects teams to redesign the protagonist entirely. This context is vital because it imbues every frame of the final product with a sense of gratitude and relief. When the film finally opened, the Sonic on screen was not a monster. He was vibrant, expressive, and adorable. This initial act of course correction set the tone for a movie that, against all odds, decided to possess a genuine heart. The narrative structure of Sonic the Hedgehog is deceptively simple, borrowing the chassis of a classic, road trip buddy comedy, rather than attempting to adapt the sprawling, often nonsensical lore of the video games directly. This was a masterstroke by the writers. By placing Sonic in the real world, specifically in the sleepy, fictional town of Green Hills, Montana, the film grounds the fantastical elements in a recognizable reality. We are introduced to Sonic not as a confident hero, but as a lonely refugee. Forced to flee his home planet by Echidna warriors, he lives in isolation, hiding in a cave filled with pop culture artifacts, longing for connection but terrified of being discovered. This recontextualization of the character adds a layer of pathos that anchors the film. When Sonic plays baseball by himself, utilizing his super speed to play every position on the field, the scene shifts rapidly from a display of cool powers to a heartbreaking portrait of loneliness. It is this emotional core that elevates the material above a mere cash grab. We care about the blue hedgehog not because he is fast, but because he is desperately alone. Enter Tom Wachowski, played by James Marsden, a character who serves as the perfect grounding wire for Sonic's high-voltage energy. Marsden is the unsung hero of this genre. His ability to act against a tennis ball or a plush toy with total sincerity is a specific and undervalued skill set. As the Donut Lord, a small-town sheriff with big city dreams, he provides the human perspective necessary for the audience to engage with the madness. The chemistry between the CG hedgehog and the human sheriff is the engine of the film. Their road trip to San Francisco to recover Sonic's lost bag of rings becomes a journey of mutual discovery. Sonic learns what it means to have a friend, while Tom learns that the big life he thought he wanted pales in comparison to the community he already has. The script is peppered with dialogue that feels improvisational and loose, allowing the friendship to develop organically over scenes involving bar fights, motel stays, and high-speed highway chases. The decision to keep the stakes relatively personal, saving a friend rather than just saving the world, keeps the narrative focused and emotionally resonant. However, a hero is defined by his villain, and Sonic the Hedgehog boasts a villain performance that acts as a time machine, transporting audiences back to the mid-1990s. Jim Carrey's portrayal of Dr. Robotnik is a tour de force of physical comedy, arrogance, and unhinged energy. For years, Carrey had moved toward more dramatic or subdued roles, but here, he returns to the rubber-faced anarchy of Ace Ventura and The Mask. He plays Robotnik not as a generic evil genius, but as a narcissist who is visibly disgusted by the mediocrity of everyone around him. His movements are precise and robotic, yet fluid like a dancer. He interrupts people, insults their intelligence, and caresses his machines with disturbing affection. The film smartly allows Carrey to chew the scenery until there is nothing left. Every scene featuring Robotnik is a jolt of electricity. Whether he is verbally dismantling a military major or dancing alone in his mobile lab to the chaotic sounds of his own genius, Carrey makes the character distinctively his own while honoring the egg-shaped silhouette of the source material. The antagonism between Sonic's free-spirited anarchy and Robotnik's obsession with control and order forms the philosophical conflict of the movie, executed with slapstick precision. Visually, the film manages to translate the sensation of speed, a notoriously difficult thing to do in live action, into something coherent and exciting. Borrowing a visual language established by the Quicksilver scenes in the X-Men films, the filmmakers utilize slow motion to depict Sonic's perspective. The standout sequence occurs in a roadside biker bar, where a brawl erupts. Time freezes, and Sonic moves casually through the chaos, manipulating beer bottles, tying shoelaces, and arranging bodies in mid-air shenanigans. It is a playful, kinetic set piece that demonstrates his power level without resorting to mindless destruction. Furthermore, the redesign of Sonic pays dividends in these moments. His fur reacts to the wind, his quills bristle with electricity, and his facial animations convey a wide range of emotions, from cocky teenage attitude to genuine fear. The integration of the CG character into real-world environments, from the damp forests of the Pacific Northwest to the urban sprawl of San Francisco, is seamless. The lighting teams deserve immense credit for ensuring that the blue alien feels like he occupies the same physical space as James Marsden, reflecting light and casting shadows appropriately. The climax of the film brings the video game roots to the forefront without alienating the general audience. The chase sequence, which utilizes the concept of warp rings to hop between different locations across the globe, from Paris to the Great Wall of China to the Pyramids of Giza, is a visual feast that showcases the global scale of the adventure in a matter of seconds. It is a breathless sequence that finally allows Sonic to fully unleash his speed against Robotnik's advanced technology. The resolution, however, returns to the film's central theme: community. Sonic does not defeat Robotnik solely because he is faster. He wins because he stops running away and chooses to protect his friends. The moment he declares, "I'm not just a hedgehog, I'm the Donut Lord's friend," it pays off the emotional setup established in the first act. The defeat of Robotnik, sending him to the iconic Mushroom Planet, serves as both a satisfying conclusion and a delicious tease for future installments, embracing the weirder aspects of the Sega lore. Culturally, Sonic the Hedgehog is significant because it broke the video game movie curse. For decades, adaptations of games were synonymous with critical and commercial failure, often plagued by filmmakers who misunderstood the source material or low budgets that hampered the vision. This film succeeded because it respected the character while understanding the needs of a film narrative. It did not try to be The Dark Knight. It aimed to be a fun, heartwarming family adventure that captured the attitude of the 90s games. It is a film that survives on charm. It references the Olive Garden with a bizarre specificity that somehow becomes a running gag. It creates a side character in Agent Stone, who became an unexpected fan favorite. It features a soundtrack that mixes nostalgia with modern beats. In conclusion, Sonic the Hedgehog is a triumph of listening. It is a movie that should not have worked, born from a production cycle that initially alienated its core fanbase. Yet, through a combination of Jim Carrey's manic brilliance, James Marsden's earnest grounding, and a visual effects team that worked overtime to give a blue hedgehog a soul, it became one of the most enjoyable blockbusters of its year. It captures the essence of what it feels like to hold a Sega Genesis controller: fast, colorful, and undeniably cool. It proves that sometimes, if you simply slow down and fix your mistakes, you can still win the race.